everybody. Welcome into Montgomery Co. And as you can see, yes, I am on the go. So we're going to have a little Moco on the go at the beginning of the show. But man, all right, so listen, moms be doing the most. And we should all be thankful that moms be doing the most. And that's what this episode is all about. We got moms on moms on moms, but not just moms on moms, but the moms that are killing it. Cheyenne Parker, probably going to be an all-star. She's not an all-star. We riot. Amy Olson, a mom that, you'll hear more about her later. Unreal. And then we have our crew, which we just so all happen to be moms. We talk a little bit of representation. And if you listened last week, Anna Valdez talked about the shows making noise. They have diversity. We're going to talk about it. Let's go! All right, so back to moms doing the most. Well, first of all, let me shout out the Wives Club. And when I say the Wives Club, I'm talking about Larry's wife, Robin, Suzanne's wife, Kat, and then, of course, y'all know my baby, Serena. The Wives Club held it down, and I'm also going to say that they got a big dub because they gifted the players just basically travel care packages, just things you might need while you're on the road. You know what I'm saying? See, we try to have everything covered, me, Larry, and Suzanne, but of course, they're going to think of the nice touch to add to it. Well, those care packages, I like to call them successful because, as you guys know, you should know, the Atlanta Dream had an unreal road trip. We're still on our road trip, but we had an unreal beginning to our road trip. We won some big games, but honestly, I feel like we're starting to play like ourselves. I still don't even think we're playing our best basketball yet, but the Wives Clubs gave out gifts for the road, and I feel like the gifts helped. We won games. I mean, I don't know, but I want to shout out the Wives Clubs for doing that because it's a good look. And then speaking of that, all right, so speaking of wives, by the way, Serena and I, we went on a date. This is like overshare, but not. The reason I'm saying that we went on a date is because we went to the movies to see The Blackening. And a lot of people went to go see The Blackening on Juneteenth. Shouts out to everybody that did that. We were a part of the group. We went to a drive-in theater. And I want to say, first of all, amazing movie in a sense of I didn't have high expectations. I usually don't for horror films that are supposed to be a comedy as well as I don't know whether to laugh or to be scared or it's not even really funny. I'm gonna tell you right now, The Blackening was actually funny. There were moments where I didn't even just chuckle. That chuckle where it's like, yeah, that was kind of funny. No, I laughed out loud on multiple times. I thought that was dope. But here's the thing about watching The Blackening at a drive-in theater. It was mad dark, mad black. So that was pretty much when it was scenes in the woods, we really literally couldn't see what was going on. I felt like I was in the woods too. So I felt like I was submerged in the environment, but it was also like watching my first podcast movie where you literally just got to listen to everything happening. I hear something, I'm like, what was that? Because y'all know you're in the car, so you turn on the radio, so it's surround sound. It sounded like if somebody's stepping in the woods behind me, it's like if somebody's stepping behind me. So we got the full-on experience. Shouts to The Blackening. I think you guys should go check it out. Like I said, I'm not usually one of the people that like those kind of movies, but I like that movie. Shouts to the whole cast and everything. And this is not an ad. I have no connection to the movie. I feel like I always need to say that so you guys know, this is my real, honest opinion. And then, as if that wasn't eventful enough, boy, oh boy, there's the world of sports, right? And we all know sports is sporting. We saw Bradley Beal, what's going on, poor Chris Paul. And I only say poor Chris Paul is because it's you never want to find out you're traded by anyone other than the people you're supposed to find out you're traded from, your agent, your team. Chris Paul found out he was traded from his son's text because he was on a flight on his way to go film a Good Morning America interview, which he still ended up doing the interview. And that's how we found out all this information that I'm saying right now. So it's like sports, man. And that's the thing, because I'm on the other side of sports. I was a player, but now I'm on the management ownership side of sports. And that's the thing that we just always try to do. There's certain unavoidable things in sports. It's unavoidable that you're going to have to fire someone. It's unavoidable that you're going to have to trade someone. You're going to have to cut someone. These are all things that are just going to happen in sports. That's just how it works. But the thing about sports is how you go about your business. How do we go about trading that person? How do we go about firing someone, cutting someone? That's where I hope that as the Atlanta Dream, sometimes you can't help it. For instance, you can't tell a player that you're planning on trading them before it actually happens, because what if the trade doesn't go through and now you're dealing with a disgruntled player? So I understand the nuance and how hard it is, but that's just my hope with the Atlanta Dream, that at all times, we're going to try to at least do things in the right manner. Sometimes life happens and things don't work out perfectly. So I'm already saying it now because people are going to be like, hey, aren't you the one that said you're going to try to? Sometimes things don't work out perfectly. But that's how we want to try to do things because, look, I was a player that got traded abruptly. I was a player that felt like things could have probably been done better. So I've been on the other side of things and things of that nature. So, and by the way, if y'all heard all those noises, this is Moco on the go. I'm on my laptop. I don't have all the alerts off, as you can see. So my bad. But I just wanted to wrap to y'all real quick because whenever I see these things happen, I always first just think about it from the athlete perspective. Like, dang, poor Chris Paul, because like, you just never want to find that news out. He's traveling, he's out and about, and he finds out from his son. But then also now it's a chance for Chris Paul to just, figure out his own destiny. He's probably going to end up somewhere in LA. Bradley Beal is going to be in Phoenix. We do know that. This is only the beginning. I mean, it's NBA draft week. So there's a lot going on in the sports world. And speaking of that, we're going to continue the sports world conversation because I told y'all about the moms doing the most, right? Well, Cheyenne Parker, let me just talk about her real quick, because I'm, actually real medium because I'm going to talk to her some more. Y'all can hear from her. But Cheyenne Parker is one of those players that you just want the best for. Does the right things, takes care of everybody else, takes care of her body, herself. Shouts to her mom because her mom was telling me that, like, listen, they feed her nutrients. Her mom wanted to feed the whole team nutrients. Like, I'm trying to get these girls ready from the inside out. So shouts to Cheyenne Parker, Naomi, her whole family, because it's like players like that they just go about doing things the right way. Probably the mom of the team. You just want all the success in the world for them. And Cheyenne Parker, if you don't follow me on Twitter, I tweet this very often. Cheyenne Parker is a WNBA All-Star. Period. All right. Now let me go holler at Cheyenne Parker right quick. The Atlanta Dream starting. Listen, everything. Shouts to Cheyenne, man. She's been holding it down. I gotta go. They're probably right outside my door right now. I'm at CBS. As I told you guys, I'm in New York filming We Need to Talk. It's a dope crew. Like, we're gonna talk NBA draft. We're gonna talk about all the things we're talking about right now, actually. But we're also gonna continue on the conversation. We're gonna interview Jackie Young from the Aces. Speaking of all-stars, she's having a killer season, but I digress. This is Moco on the go, and I'm gone. I gotta go. Peace. We're here with Cheyenne Parker, and first of all, welcome, because you know what I'm saying? You was fresh off of overseas, but you was playing against Ryan's team. How was that? Is it interesting? Like, I know the answer, by the way, you guys, because I played overseas against teammates, but I'm asking you for the people that don't know, how is it like going against your own teammate?
It's weird. It's very weird.
Because y'all was just hugging, and y'all like besties.
Yeah, that's my baby. So it was definitely weird, especially because she hit the game winner.
Yeah, she did.
And I was very salty. And she's like all bubbly and giggly and coming to try to hug me after the game. And I'm just like,
relax.
I'll talk to you later. Talk to you later. I need a minute. So, yeah.
It's funny because she basically said she self-appointed herself godmother. Yes. So she just came in here and told us that she's the god. So is it official?
Yeah, she is.
So she's really is?
She's proven that she can be.
So it was a trial run.
It was a trial run, but she definitely... That's her godmother now.
I love it. So, okay, a lot of people, you have to literally come back from overseas and then boom, you hop right into a WNBA season. Like, how do you get your mind right to reset? You went all the way to the finals.
I think, well, for one, going to the finals actually helped me because it was the first time I had made it to the finals in my professional career. Okay. So it gave me a lot of experience and taught me a lot of things just being there. But the adjustment, I think, just bouncing back it's been an adjustment because Tanisha is Tanisha, and it's a huge difference. Like the expectations, but it's just like I was yearning for that, just to be coached like in a good way, just have good coaching. So I'm excited to be back and just kind of get whipped back into this mentality of. Just being the hardest working, toughest team,
And I mean, just as I think about this season, we were right there last season, but I really think that the thing that everybody noticed about us was like how we were as a team. You were a part of that. Kia Vaughn's back, even though she was. But so going into this next season, like, what's the jump? What's year 2 jump for everybody?
I think us just the things that we lacked last year, like mainly like our discipline on offensively and defensively, just having that transition, like having the growth that we need in order to take that next step, because that's the only thing that really held us back.
Definitely. No, I agree. And it's like, I want people, because you're you're the new age, I think, women's athlete in the sense of you're doing everything right now. And so now, Naomi, was she over there with you?
Yes.
So for the moms, because this is a whole genre, traveling with a child, overseas with a child, like... Honey, first of all, let me just clap it out, because it's hard for me to even function by myself overseas. I'm just keeping it real, and I played overseas 10 seasons. It ain't easy. So like, what's a tip? Traveling with kids, what's a tip? Like I want to give something to moms real quick before I go into overseas. Like what's a trip?
Definitely always have a carrier. Those carriers, because it's hard to try to have a stroller when you already have like your bags and everything. Like you have to have your hands free as much as you can. But if your child outgrows the carrier, try to figure out like a way to
tall babies, because you're gonna have tall baby problems. Then I would say,
and she's very tall.
Is she taller than me?
Oh, she's up there. She's getting to you. She's almost there. Oh gosh. You haven't seen her yet.
No, that's why I was so sad. I literally said, "Where's the baby?"
You'll see her. Don't worry.
Okay, don't worry.
Season.
But for you, I mean, like a lot of people, we see Skylar Diggins, we see a lot of players now, Nafisha Collier. Moms in the league are just a normal thing. So, what is that next like level that you think we can grow to support moms in the league?
I would say just having like the available amenities. Like,
because I have those words that are...
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Just like for home games, having like a back room specifically for a mom if they need to change their child or nurse their child. Just having that kind of intimate space. I think that would be helhelpful.
Because we've never seen this in sport. You know
rare.
What I mean?
It's like a new thing. It really is. So I think everyone's learning along the way.
What was it like in Italy then with Naomi?
There were times where I had to really break down, like, I have a daughter, so I can't like do this, or I have a daughter, so I need a playpen, a crib in the room. I need you to request that.
Oh, honey, they wouldn't even get enough sleeping materials. Like yeah, okay, so I see.
Just realizing like, okay, she might need an extra bag to check because she has to pack her daughter's
And they was trying not to cover it as a team expense.
Just little things like that.
We need to get you an extra check bag is what for them. I'm listening. Okay, you need a
the dream has been exceptional.
Oh, for real?
No, I have no complaints with the dream.
Amazing.
Honestly, when I came back, I said, I will never complain again.
Wow. Because you saw all the...
Yeah, really being over there really humbled me and changed my perspective, because the things that, even like a meal after practice, a massage, like those type of things, man, they go a long way. And I appreciate them so much more now because I went without them and I realized like, wow, this stuff is like so helpful,
Facts. No, I love hearing that. Look, I didn't tell her to say. I'm just gonna let y'all know, like, I love hearing that because I was about to be calling folks afterwards, like, does Cheyenne have somewhere to put the baby? Like, are we? But I'm happy to hear that it's okay. So going into this next season, I always like to ask people, like, not just the basketball season, but what are some of your off the court goals? Because, Haley, sometimes I hoop, she has but like everybody's building their brand at the same time as they're on the court. Yeah. What are things that you're building?
So right now I'm really focusing on learning more about entrepreneurship and real estate.
Okay.
Investing and really like learning. It's definitely a business and you have to know it in order to be successful. So that's what I've been
real estate. And so post basketball, that might be where you want to, or do you want to stay around the sport, or you're like, I'm about to.
I would love to stay around the sport in some ways. I don't really see myself coaching though. Maybe when I'm like older.
I said I would never. I'm just gonna be honest. I was like, I'll never coach.
I don't see myself doing it either. Maybe, but you never say never.
You're supposed to never say never. I know, so I didn't say it out loud. It even felt uncomfortable saying it to you there. But it's just like now I think I'm comfortable enough to say I won't coach. But everything ain't for everybody.
Right.
I'm just curious. So real estate, you think that's the kind of space that you're in?
Yeah, because I like to have, my whole thing is financial freedom. I want to be able to just do what I want. Like I like production and things like that. Maybe getting into producing different like television shows and stuff. Like,
Oh, girl, you need to talk to us. Then we got big things.
I plan on it, girl.
Oh, okay.
I'm just, everything I feel like is in the right time. Like right now, I have a lot of goals like basketball wise, and I'm really trying to hone in on that. And being a mom, it's like I gotta have a very, very narrow like focus.
Yeah.
And right now it's basketball, Naomi, basketball, Naomi. Well,
I love
Naomi,
that.
basketball, Naomi, basketball.
Either way, in the order that you're saying,
Right.
but how do you balance everything though? Because I was even talking to like Ari, where she's a fresh new wife. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and when are you?
April 2024.
Okay.
Hopefully, yes. That's the
And
date.
has that been stressful planning? Are you keeping it intimate? I mean, like,
A little.
like, so have you been like hands-on planning, or you're like just make it nice?
My bridesmaid is helping me a lot, which is my sister. She's helping a lot, but she's also my sister. So it's times where I just be like, I'll call you back. Just text me.
Just handle it. Like, I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
For real? And is it going to be intimate or?
We're going to do something intimate in Jamaica, and then like a broader, like just like a reception
Jamaica, let's
Georgia.
go.
Yeah, just like an intimate type of thing.
So what's happening? You about to be a
I'm gonna be
whole
a
wife out here. You about to be a whole wife out here.
Yes, I'm gonna be a wife.
So people ask me this all the time, but WNBA has groupies, right? Like I always tell people, of course they do, but I feel like you're a player that probably gets, like, before they know that your DMs people probably shoot their shot at you. Like dudes did they be asking you to fly them out?
I've never had anyone ask me that, no.
But what they be saying then, how do the dudes do it? Because, like, you know, like, if it's an NBA player, he might be like, come to a game, I'll fly you out.
Yeah, I've been offered to get flown out and stuff.
Oh, because the NBA players have also flown you out. Oh, my bad.
I've had that, but it's, to me, like, I'm a mom. Back off. Back off.
Y'all better back off, man. Listen, I'm excited for this season, though. I just feel like each year everyone's elevating and getting better. But, man, y'all back off. I didn't even think that they was them thirst buckets. She's engaged. She about to be a whole wife. What'd you say, April 2024?
Yes.
Wow.
The Lord willing, yes.
Lord willing. She comfortable, too. I don't know if y'all can see.
Oh, no, they can't. I made sure.
Okay,
that's why I came in here like this. I have my cherries on, too.
Appreciate you, Sean, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate you talking to me. Bring the
Always.
baby to me, though.
Oh, if I know.
Tell what's
Kevin.
Kevin?
Yes.
Tell Kevin, like, y'all know where I
Just
be at
missed
every
him.
game. And
Yes, I'll tell him.
he know where I be at every game.
Can't miss you.
I want to cuddles, and then when
Can't
she's
miss
taller
you.
than me, we're gonna have to discuss something.
No,
Does
but
she
when
wanna
you see
play?
her, you're gonna be like,
She tall for real?
she's like a 3-year-old, but she's only 16 months.
She's taller than me. I remember. I just thank you for joining the show. The baby's already taller than me. But for real, Sean, I'm excited to see every year you elevate. So I'm excited to see what's going on here, though.
This was yesterday.
This is just
no call.
This is no call. Why'd she say no call?
No call. Yesterday's game. It's all right.
Coming up next, we have pro golfer Amy Olson.
First of all, what's up, mama? What up? We got Amy Olson coming through. And Amy is a pro golfer, but I'm just gonna start out with because you're the definition of mom's doing the most, okay? In a good way. You started out golfing at the whopping age of 2, and now you just qualified for the U.S. Women's Open at Pebble Beach while pregnant. 7 months pregnant, as a matter of fact. Do I have this all correct? Like, Amy, is that you?
Yeah, that's me. I qualified 2 weeks ago. I was 5.5 months pregnant at that point. So when Pebble Beach comes around, I will be 7 months pregnant. And with the U.S. Open, I mean, the U.S. Open is just a historic championship to start with. And then with it being at a venue like Pebble Beach this year, I was like, I will waddle down that fairway if I have to. Like, I don't care. One day I will tell this little one this story, and it's just going to be a really cool memory. So I'm looking forward to it. It's very exciting.
Don't go win it, Amy, because imagine if you just I'm just saying, if you do the unthinkable and you go win it while 7 months pregnant, if it's a girl or a boy, like, what are you going to name them? Like, if that happens, like, what's the name going to be?
I haven't even thought that far. I mean, we've thought of names, but besides you can't name the kid Pebble, can you? That's just rude.
Amy, I'm just saying, Pebble Beach is where you won. Would that be your first U.S. Open win?
Yes. Yep.
Amy, I'm just saying, Pebbles. Pebbles is the name, and honestly, you shot 6 under par. What was it? 6 under par with 38 in the a 38-hole qualifier. So
yeah, 36 holes. We played 2 rounds in a day, and I qualified outright. The other players went into extra holes. But yeah, so I shot 6 under, qualified outright. So yeah.
So you're clearly still playing at a high level. I'm just curious because we've seen it in the WNBA where players have started playing back after 2 months. De'Erica Hamby, Cheyenne Parker on my team, Nafisha Collier came back after. So I'm curious what your philosophy is going to be. Are you going to at least give yourself a break since you played all the way up until 7 months? Or are you trying to get back out on the course as soon as possible?
Yeah, honestly, I want to enjoy being a mom. That to me is that's something that I've looked forward to. I've always wanted, until it happens, you never know if you'll be able to. And so I'm going to enjoy being a mom. I'm not committing one way or the other, how long I'm going to be gone, if I'll come back. I'm honestly not sure. So I'm just going to enjoy every single week leading up to it. And honestly, like the way the LPGA works is I've only ever had status 1 year at a time to start with. Okay. So I've always had to make my decisions like, what am I going to do this year? And I can't even think about next year yet. So honestly, this is no different than how I've lived for the past 10 years.
No, that's cool. So you talked about the LPGA, and I'm curious because there's a lot of movement happening right now. There was a new chairman named, and now there's the newly created PGA Live Golf entity. What are your thoughts on the merge of the PGA Tour merging with Live Golf?
The tours that merged, from what I saw, were the PGA Tour, Live Golf, and the DP World Tour. So the LPGA is not in on that arrangement at all. We really haven't had, I don't even know that we've been in conversations. Like, obviously that's something our commissioner would know. I wouldn't know that. But yeah, it's definitely going to shake things up. I mean, when Live started, that already shook things up a ton. Now with them merging, I have no idea what golf is going to look like in the next year or two. So yeah, I have like blank thoughts right now.
No, I mean, it's cool because like, I'm not like, I'm basketball, so I'm not really submerged in the golf world. But we just kind of see things from afar. So that's why I wanted to ask you about it. But speaking of like basketball and golf, it's interesting because we're both women's sports in the general sense of the term, but golf has a better chance of almost reaching that money status that we hope that all women's sports could be in. Because like for you, first of all, congratulations. I love seeing women win. And in 2018, 4 years into your career, you crossed the 1 million mark in your career earnings. And then 2019, you crossed the 3 million mark. And I'm curious when you see like, I don't know if it's the same in golf, but what are your salaries? Like, I'm excited for you because those are high salaries, but are they in comparison to your male counterparts? Like, because with the WNBA, as we all know, it's been talked about a lot, but is it the same in golf?
Yeah, there's a huge disparity. And this is before Liv kind of came on the scene. So Liv took the men to even a more astronomical level. But, prior to when Liv entered the scene, women, if you were to compare like the number one in the world on the men's side to number one on the women's, it's like we make 10%. And same if you look down the money list on like the 50th person or the 100th person, like just add a zero onto, it's just like, yeah, it's add a zero onto whatever we make, and then that's where the guys are at. So, there is a disparity, but I will say, I think tennis and golf have been two of the sports that have really they've tried different things even. I've really looked up to tennis and how they really partnered with the men. I think there's potentially opportunities for us to do that in golf. I'd love to see that. But obviously now with the news that came out today, who knows what that would look like. I think that there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of energy behind women's sports right now. And the LPGA is positioned well to be able to maybe take advantage of that.
No, that's really cool. That's like, and I look at it the same. We talk about money a lot because obviously I was an athlete for 11 years. I didn't accrue generational wealth while playing, but I hope that the athletes behind me at a certain point can. And you talked about like partnering with the men's side and different things of that nature. I'm curious, like, how are sponsors responding? Like, you know, like for instance, do y'all have the same amount of sponsors? Are y'all connected as a brand at all? Like, is PGA and so y'all are two completely separate entities?
Totally separate organizations. We actually we have a joint tournament that's going to start, I think it's in December of this year, and there'll be like 16 players from our tour and then 16 players from their tour that will combine forces and like have a little team event. So, I mean, that's a very small, you know, one event, but it helps exposure. Cause to me, it's like, it's always eyeballs drive money. Yep. And so like the whole point is just to get more fans, more engagement, more awareness. And I think partnering with other organizations that maybe have a different fan base is really important because we kind of have the same people that watch us every single week. And if you want more money, you need more eyeballs, and you have to pull them from somewhere that aren't already watching you.
No, that makes me think of the match where they start to bring in a little bit of star power, athletes from different sports. And it's like, let me go see. I don't normally watch golf as much. Sorry. I'm going to watch it more, Amy. I want to watch you.
Yeah. I love it.
But I'm just saying, like, when I saw like, oh, okay, you got like some football players and Steph Curry and Clay. There's different ways to kind of do that crossover. I also saw something that you said well, let me just start by saying, I always tell my son to play loose when he's playing basketball because, you know, you have to say a certain level of loose, but then I couldn't explain to him how be focused, but play loose. And I saw you break it down perfectly where you said the hardest thing about golf is that you train like it's the most important thing to you, but you have to play like it doesn't matter. So that's something that I think a lot of folks would need to do in life. So I'd love to hear you kind of break down more, like, how do you go about loosening your nerves when like you have a big match coming up or anything of that nature? Like, how do you get loose when it sounds good? Like, yeah, everybody says get loose, but when you're not loose, what's up?
I know. Oh, well, I mean, for me, a huge part of that has always been my faith and having proper perspective and why are we working hard? And like, I think so many people work from a place of like, I have to achieve this certain result so that I'm known for whatever. And it's all like, there's so much pressure based on the result. I view it very differently. You work because this is an opportunity God's placed before you, and you want to make the most of it, and you want to be the best that you can be for him. And so working from that mindset versus working to like achieve whatever win it is or whatever like milestone you're working for. So like that takes care of like why you work and that motivation. But then also realizing that like he has a way bigger story than the one you're trying to write. And like, you don't know what your role in that is. So being free and letting him write the story and not trying to micromanage, like, this is the story I want. So working really hard, but also letting go. And for me, it's all about perspective and more from the mental side. I mean, there's a lot of things day of the tournament that I do, whether it's like breathing, you know, just trying to stay loose physically. Cause there's certain things when you're anxious, things tighten up. Things get quicker, you know, there's just physical reactions. So for me, it's mental and physical.
Yeah, no, because I was going to say, I'm glad you added the physical, because some people might be like, that sounds great, but what if they're not rooted in faith like you are, which is amazing, by the way, because people want to win, Amy, like, you know, you're like, I want to win. So it sounds good. Like, cause you know, I was blessed to be raised in the pews, as I like to call it. So I do know what you're referring to, but then there's also that we want to win, but you're right. You have to find ways that your way, the breathing exercises and different things of that nature. And do you have like, I came from a sports family. So do you have like a sports nucleus family that you were born into or a part of now? Cause I think your husband, isn't your husband into sports as well?
Yeah. So, my dad was like an amateur golfer. He loved it just for fun. He never dreamed of having a pro, like as a daughter. That was never in the plans, but he just loved it. So I grew up on the golf course. And then my brother played college golf at the same time I did. So we were both Division I athletes together. So I had a ton of support growing up, competing with him. And then when I ended up getting married to my husband, Grant, he was actually a Division I football player at North Dakota State, where we all played. And so he has that football background, but it's crazy. Like we talk about all the time, like the difference between, and I'm sure basketball would have like a lot of contrast with golf, but in football, it's like that adrenaline, like that hype, like that's good for you because you can go tackle somebody. Like he was a linebacker. So he's like,
yeah, like what do you do when you're turned up for golf? Like, what do you even do?
It's so the opposite. Like if you have a scale of like how hyped up you want to be from like 1 to 10 in golf, ideally it's like 2.
No. Yeah, see, they would never let me. You know what? I need to pull up to a golf because it's like that is the opposite of my ethos. I am like turned for like I'm like the hype person on the team. So for golf though, like yeah, the fist bump. We remember Tiger Woods. Like, but what would happen if you just turned up?
I mean, there's just not that many. I mean, in certain situations, like you make a huge birdie putt, like you hole out from a certain point, like yeah, you're gonna be jacked and you gotta release it. Like you have to let that out because then for your next shot, you have to come back to a place of like somewhat calm. So there's a place for it. Like you can't be calm all the time. I mean, like I said, there's going to be a few situations where you like sink a clutch birdie putt or whatever, where you're just like that fist pump comes out, like that energy comes out. But then honestly, like you got to snap right back. Wow. And you have to get back to that like calm, fluid, like chill kind of vibe because honestly, being really jacked up with adrenaline is not helpful in golf ever.
Crazy. Yeah, it's crazy because I can see that. You have to be very intentional about your movement. So when you get home, do you just like lose it? Do golfers like when they get in their house, they just start screaming and losing and letting everything out that you couldn't maybe have let out? Oh, I'm trying to figure out where does the energy go?
I know, I don't, but I will say like there's times like depending on where I'm at in my career, or like what kind of a phase I'm going through, like if I'm struggling, if I'm doing really well, there's certain times where I have a really hard time deregulating, like I come back to my hotel and I'm like, I can't sleep because I still have this energy that I need to release. So like some people are like, I'm going to go do some sprints. I'm going to, whatever it is.
Honey.
That's not me. Trust me. That's not me. But like for me, sometimes it's just like being able to like process. If I don't process my round mentally and I'm like, okay, this is what I should have done. Like, this is what I want to do tomorrow. If I don't go through that process, I'm like, I still stay jacked up on adrenaline for hours. So there is a place like you have to find your way to release it for sure.
No, that's crazy. And it makes me, now that we're talking basketball to golf, I want to ask you about some basketball players that play golf, like J.R. Smith. How is his golf game? Like, how would you describe his golf game? Because if I'm describing his hoop game, he could shoot it with the best of them. He could shoot it from deep. He had low key bounce and he was like, don't get dunked on. But what is like golf JR like?
I have no idea. I've never seen him golf. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, he's not a professional golfer. And have you seen Steph Curry golf?
I've never seen him golf. I'm sorry. Like, are you watching? I know I live under a rock. I'm sorry.
I love that you don't. This is kind of like reverse. You know how sometimes if you ask men about like a women's player, they'll be like, Donna Taurasi, who? And I'm like, are you crazy? But then it's like, okay, maybe so you haven't seen any of these guys hoop. I mean, not hoop, golf.
I'm in my bubble. Bubble.
This is hilarious.
But I will say what's really funny, like I'm telling you, like basketball players, football players, like particularly depending on the position that they play, like really good athletes, right? And then you see them pick up a club and you're just like, you look so uncoordinated. Because honestly, I think the only sport, I talked to my husband about this. I'm like, I think the only sport that translates to golf is hockey. Hockey, like the slap shot is very similar to the golf swing. Everything else, like even if you're like talking baseball or softball,
I thought they
like,
said basketball shooters. They said since I'm a shooter, Ray Allen told me since I'm a shooter that I should be able to play golf.
You'd probably have great touch, but like it doesn't. The motion is very different from the golf swing. So like you don't have any of the fundamentals as far as like the swing. But I imagine you'd have really good touch like around the greens with putting or chipping or anything like that.
Oh, things that is like a feel, basically anything that
totally.
Like I'm so intrigued right now because golf is the sport. First of all, they call golf the business sport. So does that help you in the business world? I'm just curious.
It's the business sport because it's networking. It's a like every single week. I don't know, like there's nothing comparable in the WNBA, but like every single week. So we play Thursday through Sunday, but on Wednesday we have what's called a pro-am. So the sponsors of our event send like their CEO and their, whatever, maybe some executives to come play in a round with us as players.
Wow.
And we play what's called a scramble, and it's like super chill. I mean,
but I can see that being very appealing to a sponsor where they get to go play with pros, essentially.
Yeah. Like, so the networking, because like, I'm sorry, I would really like if a CEO of a company came and played basketball, like he'd get hurt. He'd get hurt.
Yeah, you was giving him that work.
So like, there's not many sports where you can actually like play side by side with the premier athletes in the world, and golf is one of those. So that's kind of why it gets called the business sport. And also like even at your local country club, like it's where the doctors, it's where the insurance agents, it's where all of the financial planners, they're members and they're like doing business with each other.
Yeah.
So it's just the environment. And it
Amy,
is.
you need to be racking up, because people tell me all the time, I need to learn golf. It's like the sport that athletes play after they're done being their athlete sport.
Yes, we got to play. Let's make this happen.
Yes, and then you need to come to a game as well. Like
totally.
Whenever you're in the A, come to a dream game. And I want to go back though, because you are a part of I didn't know you was a complete sports family. So I always like to, when I have people that are a part of sports families, I feel like we have a common understanding of life growing up. Like, for instance, if you happen to play any game, does it ever accidentally get competitive? Like way more competitive than the game rules would have probably thought up.
It's dangerous, I'm telling you. Do you know, okay, sorry, to the side note, and this is my new passion in life, so I have to find out. Have you played pickleball yet?
This is okay. I'm glad you asked, because pickleball feels like what golf was. It feels like pickleball is becoming, like for real. Like the athletes like play it as their side sport or their sport after the sport. But why are you? I have not touched a pickle court. Is that what it's called?
Pickleball court. Yeah.
Okay. I haven't touched a pickle court ever. But so what? Why did you ask?
I mean, well, speaking of things being competitive, like that's my family right now. Like my mom is vicious on the pickleball court. Okay.
Your mom?
And then my mom. Okay. So like it's become a whole family affair. My husband and I play all the time together. We play usually on the same team, not necessarily like against each other.
Oh, that's probably good for the household. That's probably
that's right. Exactly. Don't need any counseling after that. But yeah, so pickleball has become extremely competitive in our family because we're a sports family and we just love to do things with each other, and it's going to become competitive. But no, I'm telling you, that's another one, and it's addictive. Like,
so what is it? Like, is it basically ping pong on a tennis court?
Yeah, it's like mini tennis, and it's a kind of a plastic wiffle ball. So it's similar to a ping pong ball, I guess. And it moves really fast when you get up by the net. So, I mean, it's
like it just took over all at once. I heard pickleball, and then I never stopped hearing it after.
And so many celebrities are playing it. And like you said, like athletes, it's their side thing, because it's just, I don't know, it's just fun.
Wow. So let me find out that pickleball became the mistress and golf is about to be the side chick to athletes, because I'm seeing a lot of athletes. Joel Lloyd in the WNBA, she's been getting into pickleball. I mean, like I'm starting to really see, I think Kevin Durant, his group has something to do with pickleball around there. So
it's the new young thing, I'm telling you.
Woo-wee. Well, listen, Amy, I had fun. Amy, listen, I appreciate you coming through to Montgomery Co and chopping it up with me. And let me know when Pebbles is born, because you're going to win. Go on. Go on to win the tournament. And then the rest is history. But thank you for joining me on Montgomery Co.
Thanks, Renee. It was a blast. Thanks for having me.
Speaking of moms doing the most, we had the crew doing the most. Last week, we had Anna Valdez talking representation, and the crew wanted to tap in on that. Let's go.
Listen, I just want to be at a point where I watch a commercial and I'm not surprised to see a child of another ethnicity in the commercial, in the mainstream commercials. When I first saw the first mixed marriage on the what was it? It was the not Fruit Loops, but the Cheerios commercial. You would have thought I just saw the president walk through my room. I was like, oh my goodness, they got a mixed marriage couple on Cheerios ad. It was like, why should that be something that we are just so surprised
because we don't see it enough. We don't see it, but I mean
now
it's kind of like they've really gotten into it.
Yeah, it was like
they have, but I'm saying the first time was like what, and then like now I saw a Pampers ad where I saw a child who had Down syndrome, and I thought that was beautiful.
Oh, I love
that is beautiful.
Yes.
Maybe that's why we're getting so much backlash from everything, because they're seeing it a lot now. And now that's why all the haters and the Karens are coming out, because
not the Karens.
But yeah, so when I saw the child with Down syndrome, I was like, oh, this is beautiful, this shit. And then I saw another commercial, another girl, and I was like, yes, and that's another big problem that I didn't want to bring up, but it's a big problem in Hollywood is the people playing disabled people, but they're not disabled. Instead of hiring someone who's actually
people playing
disabled.
Indians who are not Indians, or
Yeah, so I mean that's another one we gotta get towards, but I mean
I had so much to say on this, and I was so
Native Americans. Of course we need me.
Yes, of course. Yes, and Roy, thank you for helping us be politically correct.
And it's all about and the accurate portrayal too, because let's say if somebody does play if somebody of Indian descent that's from India, the parents are Indian, if they do play a role, then they have to play up on their stereotype of having an accent or doing something. They can't have like an American accent or that'll be, too progressive, or that'll be, a lot of times you see ethnic people having to play into their stereotypes. So that's part of the accurate portrayal too. I've literally had people tell me oh, my American standard is good. Why is that even a thing? I know that I'm Latina, but is my English not supposed to be good?
That's why it's crazy, because if somebody said my American standard was good, I'd be like, what are you even talking about? I don't even know what that means.
Right. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, it was that. I could see Cole's face. That's why I said, because it means her English was good, because they assumed,
wow, your English is really good. I'm like, yeah, I'm American. I was born in America.
Right. Thank you.
And that's exactly how the disabled people feel. They're like, they played that part so well, and they're like, yeah, but I live it. How are you going to tell me? They get tired of that same thing. It's like, and if they are playing a part, they're not, we want you to be more feeble, or they can't be a strong disabled person. It's always got to be something that's hindering them from being what they need to be. And I watched the whole interview with this guy who was saying the same thing. He's like, it's another standard that needs to be brought to light. So hopefully all of them will go away one day.
Well, I'm going to tell you what my toxic trait is. Speaking on these standards and these stereotypes, my toxic trait is that when I see a show that is diverse, I'm telling you what, I'm going to give it a click.
Every time.
Every time. I'm like, what is it? For instance, first of all, Harlem, if anybody hasn't seen Harlem on Prime Video, well, it's not for all audiences. Snook, I think there's a little too much activities in there.
Oh, I don't think so. Maybe for your dad.
You know what I'm saying? Parental discretion advised. But
okay, I'll tell him.
Oh, goodness. But I any shows like that, I'm an instant fan. That's my toxic trait. I'm going to give it until at least one.
Riches on Amazon too.
Yes.
Right? Riches
on Amazon
right?
Prime. I'm gonna tell you what, I'm gonna give you one season. Now I can't keep going after one season if y'all don't come with that heat. But I can guarantee you, if it's a show that has diversity, I'm gonna give you one season. That is my toxic trait, because I gotta we all we got, that's kind of how I feel. And even just hearing Anna talk about it, it's kind of how I feel about when I go talk to young hoopers. I just talked at an NIL summit here at the College Football Hall of Fame, all kinds of young hoopers. And the first thing I'm asking them is are y'all watching the WNBA? Because it sounds so crazy to be asking the college players, are they watching? But the crazier part is that some of them are yeah, I'm about to start though, for real. I'm gonna get into it. I got a couple favorite players, and it's we gotta be our own support system if you think other people are going to support too. So it's kind of the same thing when it comes to, we know it in sports, but I'm gonna start we got to keep that same energy on entertainment, because the buying power, the viewership power, it's a real thing.
It's all down the what I want to say, not only TV, your local merchants, your products that are Black owned or whatever. And a lot of communities, they support their own, like the Jewish community does a really good job of
I think the
doing
Asian
that.
community does well as
Yeah,
well.
they also
Yeah,
do
so
too.
we don't do that though. Our community does, and so we need to do more of that. Lift our own selves up. We don't want
Definitely.
to let someone else try to lift us. We need to first of all lift our own selves up.
Okay,
Definitely.
boom.
And also the Transformers movie, Renee and I, we were able to see it last week, and it was so good. But not only just because it was a good movie, had a lot of action, but I feel like they had, first of all, they had a minority cast as leads. They had Anthony Ramos, which was he was the main character, and Dominique Fishback. And I was like, wow, like okay, representation. I felt all the New York and all the Puerto Rican, vibes that I didn't know that I needed, but that I was like, wow, like I really felt like the representation factor, in this movie real quick. And it stems from just like the director even being, a Black director himself. So he wanted to put that representation on screen, and not just the supporting characters, but the lead characters, So I
he
loved
literally
it.
said, he literally said at the premiere, like, there's gonna be a lot of us in there, and we wanted it that way. Like, so I was like, that's what's up.
Well, look at the last few movies that have been released. Little Mermaid.
Oh, I love it.
That's what I was meaning to ask.
Spider-Man.
We have been talking about, we hope the numbers go crazy. Like, so when Creed came out, we hope the numbers went crazy. We knew like that all the other ones in the past, Black Panther, we knew like it was going to be a Black parade for Black Panther, because it was like we all understood the assignment, and I knew we knew that assignment. But I'm gonna be honest real quick, like I'm not a Little Mermaid type of person, all right? Like, so I was like, I'm not the typical person that would go watch a Little Mermaid movie ever in this lifetime. But guess
I said we're gonna go watch Little Mermaid.
Okay, and so we
I'm about to say, when they go in there and sit down.
We already did. So we already pulled up. We went to go see the. I'm trying to tell you, Cole.
I'm behind.
Cole. Okay, we was a part of that Black parade that went on opening weekend. I think it was 98 million or something on the opening weekend. But for the people that may be like me, it actually wasn't a bad flick. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I went in there thinking I was gonna answer some emails. I'm just be honest. I went in there thinking, okay, I'm going with the family. I'm gonna answer some emails. I'm probably tweet a little bit, take a photo. Hey, gonna go see Little Mermaid, did my part. I thought it was gonna be that type of vibe, but I actually watched it.
Very good.
It was so good.
It was so good.
It was
on the phone during the movie. Oh boy, yeah, like I was gonna be that human, because I was just pulling up for the vibes, like the whole family. I wanted to give my money, do my part. I didn't think I was gonna like it, but it really was. Serena was crying, of course.
Yes, I cried. I always cry. Okay, first of all, The Little Mermaid is one of my favorite fairy tales of ever. I always sing that song, but I don't know. I think it was
what
also
song?
that.
What song?
The part of your world. Part of your world. Be quiet. I'm not gonna sing it right now. But I've always loved that story, and so I think it was a representation, factor of it all. Because it's like when she was singing, I just felt like crying. I don't know why she made me want to cry when she was singing. It was so beautiful, and it was like, wow, like this is gonna catapult her to superstardom, and I'm so happy for her. And it just brought tears to my eyes because she deserves it. Like it's about time that we have, this kind of, it happened with Black Panther. We saw a lot of momentum with Black Panther.
Sure.
But we're seeing that same movement with The Little Mermaid. It's about time that we have that kind of representation.
And the cinematography, it was just absolutely beautiful.
Did you say cinematography? Like,
cinematography.
Did it taste good?
Oh, everything I saw in that movie, I wanted to eat.
There she goes. So she did mean cinematography.
Oh my God. All right. Well, listen, they didn't even pay us for this. This is not a promo. I really pulled up Snooker Booker Hungry. But it
felt like a Broadway show. It was so good though. It was really good. It
really was good. Like I told you, I'm not a Little Mermaid type of human. Like I'm really not, like, but this one was legit. Like I wouldn't say, y'all, one thing y'all gonna know about me, I won't talk about something before I talk about it and lie about it. So I really actually like The Little Mermaid. But Roy, I wanted to circle back real quick. Roy said something when we were talking about just the different representation, and there's a lot of British actors. I saw there was a whole film. Didn't we watch something, babe? There was a film because Roy said Succession with the British Australian people in the show, they do have polished American accents, and Succession is about obviously an American family, but we've seen a lot of big American roles go to British actors.
Definitely.
Like, there's a film. What was that film? Because I saw Samuel L. Jackson.
Judas and the Black. What is it? No, yeah, Judas and the Black Messiah.
Oh, you're talking about actually Judas and the Black Messiah.
Isn't that what it's called? The movie, right?
Yeah, but I'm talking about there was an actual documentary about British Americans taking American actors.
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah, we saw that.
Yeah, and Samuel L. Jackson was in it. So it's like for whatever reason we're talking.
No one could take his place.
for whatever reason, we're kind of like, whether it's why not have a Black role be a Black person, why not have a Latino role be a Latino person, and tell the right stories about those. It still happens too when it comes to American actors and British actors, because some of our most iconic roles, to Serena's point, Judas and the Black Messiah, Snowfall, even any roles that what's his name, Damson is in. Is that his name?
Damson Idris.
Yeah, I mean, isn't he a British actor? So it's like, but they kill it. So here it's like there's the catch-22 of it all. It's like, not saying that an American actor wouldn't kill it, but boy, have they perfected these accents and perfected the characters and the roles so much that
I'm not mad at Idris though.
Idris. Oh yeah, Idris Elba too.
Yeah, not mad at all.
See, that's what I'm trying. You see what I'm saying? So y'all are part of the problem then, okay? Look at you.
But that's what I was talking about when we had the conversation about who would be like Denzel's like successor. I said predecessor before, I said the wrong word. But that's why I said Michael B. Jordan, because he is American. And yes, Damson Idris, he does have that Denzel swag and all that. But
he has a lot.
Yeah, he has a lot. But then the thing about Denzel is that, he was African. Look, it's crazy. But, he's American too. So that's what sets him apart from a lot of actors.
No, well. I know. And that's what's crazy, because I do think that Damson is going to have a Denzel-esque career, which is going to be crazy because he is British. But I do think he will. I think he'll have such a wide range of roles. I don't know. But to your point, yeah,
I'm still not trying to hear that foolishness. They will never. They will never. They will never.
Well, they will never.
There will never be another Denzel. Hello,
absolutely.
We know that. Denzel, Mr. I can eat an apple better than anybody else. We know this man. Mr. What was it? Oh, you disloyal. Like, we know this man, okay? There's no other. But somebody else got to come up and be great, so greatness can follow, just in a different way.
Very good. Thank you. We'll leave it.
Cool. All right. Well, listen, that's all we got then. As we chop it up, we talk about different things. And when we talk about representation, it's because we talk about generational things. And that's how you want your generations to be represented correctly, because here at MoCo, y'all know it's a generational thing. We'll see y'all next week. Okay, so at the top of the show, I talked about the blackening. And then we're talking about the Little Mermaid. And I'm dead serious when I say that neither one of those shows would really be my type of shows. I honestly went to go watch them for the representation of it all. Like, that's just how I am. If, like, sue me, I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Like, in a sense of, if there's a movie that has representation in it, like The Little Mermaid or like The Blackening, I'm going to just check it out, just because if there's a TV show, I'm going to give you a good 1 to 2 episodes, the benefit of a doubt. I'm going to check it out. So that's just what I do. And then hearing Anna Valdez talk about how those shows actually tend to do well, The Last of Us and Kanto, all those shows that have the different diversity and the different flavors, it's Pride Month. And so when we talk about representation for women, minorities, LGBTQ, all of that goes together. So we got to make representation a generational thing. So let's do that. I'll see y'all next week.